Hi everyone, listen, a wee bit of a different episode to Boots to Billing today. We are going to do a wee bit of a recap just on a few different things, the business, how it's going, how the podcast is going, and maybe throw some random questions into you.
Aye, that's it. It's been a busy time, mate, so it'd be good to get a chat.
I know, I said, obviously, big shout out to the golf bar as usual. Genuinely has brought the podcast to another level. People constantly comment on the backdrop and what we're doing here. So thanks to Darren, who's sitting by the camera, is his big on. So, mate, I think for me, busy time of year.
Aye.
Probably really worthwhile starting to talk about now because probably when I first came into this business, when I first pitched it to you to come on board with me, it was very much, could we help footballers out? And what that looked like was probably, in my head, injured players, retired players, because I'd helped them notoriously throughout my career of bringing people into jobs. But it's just changed so much, mate, as you know. You went to the PFA Careers Day for me last week, which I suppose would be great to hear your opinion on. But young players are suffering just as bad as injured, retired. The female game, God, that's probably more in need of our service than anything. But the business has had to evolve, I suppose, quite a lot since then.
Listen, we've made loads of inroads as a business. Obviously, we've got a partnership now with the PFA, and there's the Dubai stuff starting to pick up again as well, which is good news as well. But I know you've been speaking to a lot of players over the last few months. How you finding it?
So I think for me, I thought May time was going to be mobbed with either players that had been let go, players that had maybe come to the end of their career. What I'm finding is I actually think maybe after the summer, it sounds like a lot of players are saying, we like the idea of this.
Yeah.
We like the idea of being able to go to a career where I can make money. But I still think there's a nervousness. There's still a wee bit of younger players thinking, I'm going to go and trial. I know they went to the PFA Weavers game where they go and their services are then on show. There's a lot of players I know are getting trials down south. With young boys, what I'm finding is, and I speak to a lot of clubs down south, what they do, especially for younger kids, is they might bring them in trial. Their budgets are all normally served around about the first team. Yeah. But then they're kind of now taking kids down for up north or where they've been scouted, and it's maybe the chances of them getting their contract is quite slim. But of course, young guys are going to take it as a chance because they've got a chance of full-time football stuff.
But see, that thing about full-time football, like, I'm hearing some crazy money getting thrown about in part-time football, so you can sometimes get as much money part-time as you can full-time, and then you can go and build your career alongside that. But there is a wee bit of a thing, especially when you're younger, that you want to have that stigma of being a full-time footballer, but sometimes you're better looking at the bigger picture, and part-time football alongside a career might be more lucrative.
I think, and generally we can speak honest this because we've been through it, right? It's more, I kind of feel a wee bit lucky now that I fell into part-time semi-professional football and I was working young, and it took me 2-3 jobs probably to figure out what I wanted to do. But when I got to the end of when my legs started to go, it wasn't like then it wasn't even my bread and butter. It was like, it was a hobby that made me money. I mean, my wages at junior and stuff paid for my holidays and my night out money at the weekend and stuff, but I'm starting to, what I'm hoping is coming across for the company, it's certainly feeling like it. We've got a lot of younger kids. We've got some kind of boys that have been injured or girls that have been injured, and they're starting to see as a place they can come at least for advice, because we spoke about this lots. As a business started, we started purely as can we coach people in sales? Can we give them all the tools they need, mix with the tools they've got to go be successful in a sales job? And by that's working brilliant for people that want to do sales. But what I'm finding is a lot of the kind of younger generation, especially, even some of the older generation we speak to, but not everybody wants to be a salesperson, because sometimes there's a stigma around about it, they don't know. But that's where we've started building a lot of partnerships now to branch out.
And that's it. Like, you started the business, and it was all sales and recruitment, because that's what we knew. But there's a real appetite out there for all businesses to bring in footballers because of all the skills and the strengths that we've talked about on here before.
I've now got, and probably through our nature, I've been in recruitment and a lot of clients that trust us. The amount of businesses that are now partnered with us that are in construction and logistics, and they're looking at it, that gap between 17 to 21, they're getting a lot of apprenticeships. There's a massive gap in the market now for skill set, and a lot of the time they'll be getting into schools and pitching to the schools at like 14 to 16 about getting new people into your industry, but at that age kids don't really know what they want to do, whereas they're a bit more mature at 20, 21, 18 that have been through a little bit of work.
And it's all right, me and you sitting here, there's a couple of dinosaurs, where it'd be a wee bit of hindsight, but the opportunities that these kids can get, I mean, the companies that we're about to announce partnerships with, if they get in with these companies, it's a job for life. I know that's a bit of an old school thing of saying it's a job for life. It is a job for life, and it'll be lucrative. They'll have a right good life. They'll have a really good lifestyle. But I suppose it is hard when you are 17, 18 and all your life's been is football to say, is there something else out there? I mean, I was at Celtic when I was 17. I've still got a picture in the house. There was 30 of us there, full time at Celtic, living the dream, strips on. A couple of months later, we're all released. I think out of that picture, only a couple of players carried on playing. And a lot of boys fell on hard times because their whole life they've been built up with Celtic to be, you're going to be the next superstar. But unfortunately, the way football is that's never only a small percentage of them will make it. So that's where hopefully we can help them out with their other careers.
Do you know what I think I'm most proud of is the fact that we've managed to keep football at the centre of everything, because now most of the clients that, like I said, it's large multinational companies that are maybe needing forklift drivers or like a skill set, but most of them are careers that allow them to still play football. So it's like if you can get a job where you're building a career, whether it's sales, being a joiner, whatever, if you can build that alongside playing your sport, most of the time you'll get a good wage in your work, good wage at football, and you're making good money.
You just touched on it there. It's amazing how the business has evolved, and we talked about this morning. We started out as football and recruitment. Now we're speaking to rugby players, tennis players, golfers, athletes across the board, and it's not just sales, as we're saying. There's construction jobs, logistics jobs, everything.
I think that came for the partnership with Laps. I mean, that's a big thing. Life After Professional Sports is a brilliant organisation to look after everything, every professional athlete. And the good thing about that is they're trying to do essentially what we've said for day one. It's the makeup of the athlete, the makeup of the footballer that we're interested in. It's how can we take the skills you've got and transfer them. And what I like about Laps is, and something I've learned through a lot of the athletes I've interviewed through that now, it feels like it's going to be a big transition from athlete life, football life into work. It's not actually as bad as what they feel, because by the time they go into an environment, whether it is in a trade or you're doing the sales course through us, and you go into an office environment, it's quite like a changing room. It's quite like being in a coaching environment. And half the time, I say this to everybody, but there's nothing a manager in a workplace could say to me that a football manager hasn't slaughtered me for in front of people or a crowd haven't gave me. So I do think there's a bit of lapse of that's why they've partnered with us. They see that we're doing good work. It's not just about, for me, when we first started, it was how can I give a skill set that we know really well, that we're good at, we can coach people, we can give them the skills, and that's great if they want to do that. But what I'm most proud of now is the fact that we've started listening to players, and we've started taking our knowledge, probably our recruitment, and when we can actually find players jobs doing anything they want. And the right client needs to be, can they still play football? If they're in that age group where they still want to play, and are you able to then build a career alongside your football? And by the way, if you get back full time, brilliant.
Exactly. Listen, there's nothing we'd like more than these boys and girls or whoever it is to become full-time footballers or on the pro tour or professional rugby players. But it's just saying, we're being realistic. 95% of these players or athletes, they don't have a career or a full-time career, so they do need a career to run alongside it.
The other thing, mate, is, and I've spoken to you about this loads, and I didn't know this was as big a problem it is, but a lot of the older players as such, you are older,
come to the end of their career.
Come to the end of their career, they think coaching's going to be the answer. And again, the stats in that are even worse, because it's like they might get a coaching job, but it could be 25 grand a year, it's minimum wage, and they're getting expected to work all the hours under the sun. And by the way, that's not the club's fault, it's just the way budgets are now. But to me, you can learn a skill set. One of the first recruiters we placed last year was on 30 grand a base salary. He's on track earnings this year will be 50. That's a career, and that's year one.
But also, bear in mind, that person never had any experience, never sales experience. The only experience they had was football. And all they done was used all the skills they already had, and they're making 50 grand a year.
What I think, and the business has changed since we've done this, but I do think what we've done really well to evolve is, no, we don't just train you to be good at the job. When you get into the job, that community we've started where you've got you, myself, Nicky, guys that are able to, if you're having a bad day, go, but I'm struggling with this, and we can go, try this, why don't we might know somebody we can introduce you to. It's like that aftercare. Probably, and I'm not speaking out of turn, you'd have felt this as well, but all the sales jobs I got before, it was there's a phone,
Go on,
away you go, and you had to figure it out. We're trying to essentially go, we're taking all the figuring out the equation for you. Here's what to expect, but here's some tangible help you can get. Our clients love it because they're getting trained and getting new ideas, let's face it, into their business, which is what they need.
It's funny how different things have evolved, and you set out with a plan of how the business is going to work, and there's different things that have came out of it. Like, we've set up our own Scottish business network, Graft and Grow. So we've got over 100 Scottish business owners in there for all sorts of sectors. And we put loads of stuff in there about pitch day placements, and every one of them's bought into it. So there, straight away, there's 100 business owners alongside everything else that we're doing. That
can open up doors.
They can open up doors and they can careers in there. So I think it's just for any players or any athletes out there to know there's loads of opportunity. Life doesn't just stop if you get released from a football club or you get let go with whatever it may be.
And by the way, me and you get it better than anybody. It's devastating when you hear it. I was in literally Celtic. I think Celtic and Rangers both scrapped their B teams in the Lowlands League this year. So a lot of the boys I've been speaking to, especially I was in and done a presentation for Rangers, spoke to a couple of their boys for their academy that are now released, and fingers crossed a few of these boys are going to get moves down south and stuff, but it's daunting for them. They've only ever been at Rangers since they were 11-year-old, and then overnight.
And I seen it firsthand when I was at the PFA event at Broadwood. We had a wee stand there, and the players were coming up to me, and you can see these guys, and all they care about is football. Boys that have been released for MD, for Celtic to Inverness, Cali, Thistle, but they've still got that hope that they're going to stay full time. And you don't want to say, no, it's not going to happen, me man, or that. But if it doesn't happen, you just know that you're there to help them. The
best advice I think that I hear, and we give it, but the best advice I hear from well above us with ex-players and stuff is build a career while you're playing football. If you make it as a millionaire, brilliant. But if you don't have that, the podcast we do proves it. There's people come on there that have played and they've probably squeezed every inch of their career they could, and then they get to that stage at 35, 36, and it's like, oh no, what am I going to do? The jump feels massive at that age to go, how am I going to transfer 15, 20 years worth of football experience into a job? And now we're helping with that, and there's more success stories now than there was a year ago because we can help, but it's that build it while you're doing it.
And it's giving them that pathway and saying we're here to help, because sometimes we've heard Kyle Lafferty, Ryan Stevenson, guys who finished playing football, or Kyle Lafferty's still playing but not at the highest level he was, 34, 35, and they just don't know how to take that next step. So that's where we're there again to help these types of guys.
That's the thing I've respected most about the conversations. You take Big Kyle, for instance. Before I knew Kyle, he was like, I was thinking, he's a big head case, like your story and stuff, but he's got his head screwed on. I mean, what he's doing with his academy now is phenomenal. He's getting busier and busier. He's doing something he's passionate about, and he's lucky that he's had the name behind him and he can get people getting in. But he was the first person to sit in front of us, being really honest probably in that interview, like, not just decisions to be, even if you do make it, that's think people start taking advantage of you a wee bit. The gambling was for him, but it could be anything. It could be people, you hear about footballers that lose all their money because they've took bad investments and stuff. That's why when I partnered with Ben in Dubai, which I know we'll touch on, but I know he's in business with Aidan McGeady and they do athletes living, but when I start pitching that to clubs now, I tell people that because I know Aidan and his company and Ben and what they do, they've done their homework. They're not there to scam people. It's, I think, taking advice with, the more we speak to these boys and stuff now, just hearing these stories and hearing the advice they can give you is second to none.
I think that just opened my mind up there to the mental health side of things. So I think a message to any players out there that have been released is, if you are struggling with any mental health problems, then Back On Side do some fantastic work, and please reach out to us and we'll put you in touch with Back On Side because they will help you. And I know for a guy playing football, you don't like to speak to people about your feelings, but give us a wee private message and we'll put you in touch with somebody that can help with that.
I think the thing I've learned for that, the girls at back on side have been brilliant by, they've supported everything right, but for me it was just to know how many boys out there are like, or girls by it. It's not just a guy thing, but you're not the only one that's suffering a bit with it at the moment. So there's a wee bit of...
That became a theme in our interviews, was mental health with the footballers, wasn't it? Because nearly every one of them talked about mental health, so you're not the only one that's struggling. If you have got mental health issues, it's a very common theme in football.
And I do think it's different probably. I think the younger generation, it's more, God, I've got my life ahead of me and my career's been taken away from me. I think the older, like, not even older, but middle, it was like they've been explained to us that their identity's been stripped from them. We don't know what the other stuff it is. It's a big change.
But also they're coming to the end of their career and they've got a lifestyle that they're used to and an income that they're used to, and they're now like, what do I do next?
Family,
and they've got a wife
house.
and kids and a big house and everything else, and that puts a lot of pressure on. So I think anything like that, then reach out and we'll definitely help it.
I think also, mate, just on that kind of subject and something you've been open and honest with, I think I'd love to give a shout out to Jane at the PFA. I think she was brilliant for opening her eyes up a wee bit to the challenges in the female game, because obviously we come for the male game, but it's just as the same female game, if not worse in some ways, for that career alongside you. There's not much money in the female game, so I do think it's just been an eye-opener. I don't know how else to explain it.
No, I think that's really interesting because we never really had much exposure to the women's game. I've got 2 young girls, Lola and Chloe, that play football, and I know girls' football's absolutely booming. And getting women's football's going through the roof just now, but obviously there's not as much money in the women's game as well, so we have had a lot of women footballers reach out to us as well and trying to get a career alongside playing football full time.
And I think that's one of the questions I've been asked a lot, where I started to probably feel a bit like, not ashamed of myself, but think myself, why did it come across like, oh, girls have said to us at last, is it just a man's course? I'm like, of course it's not. It's an athlete.
It's just
not
what we
come
know.
across that way. But again, we're learning all the time. And I do think that it doesn't matter, male, female, it's the same DNA we're after.
But you mentioned Jane for the PFA there, she's educating us. And she's actually going to come on the podcast and that'll be brilliant as well. So I think we're exposing ourselves to the women's game, and we're open to helping anybody out there.
And it's the same with the athletes and stuff. I've been surprised just how the course translates, and it might translate because I'm sporting background, and that's maybe just the way my mindset's always picked to doing the course, but nobody's finding it difficult. Everybody's picking it up quick. The people that are getting into jobs are succeeding quicker than they would, definitely. So it's I guess it's something that is always going to evolve, but it seems to be hitting home there.
So you touched on the course there, we've touched on the PFA.
Yep.
Talk to us about how long the course takes. Talk to us about the exciting news with the PFA, and talk to us about the cost and what the PFA are going to do with it.
So I do think there's a couple of things there. The course is now online, so you can do everything remote. The reason for that being was me doing one-to-one sessions with as many people was coming through the business, just wasn't able to scale.
Sustainable,
But it's also worked out better, because now the course it's a sales course to start with, where they do 8 modules, everything from it's online. It'll be videos of me talking over stuff, introducing modules. There's quizzes in there. There's some live tasks as well to help a skill set move along. Each module is not just what I see, but what modern day salespeople need to know. Everything from sales methodology to how you speak to people, how you move somebody from A to B, how you close deals, all that stuff. But at the end of it, once we've done it all and I get the assessments coming through, we then do 3 hours of one-to-one coaching with me. And essentially what that is me doing is filling in gaps you might not have picked up, kind of talking to you a bit more about you and your career. Do you want to move into recruitment like we did, because we've got a massive network that can help them out? Or is it general sales jobs? Is it maybe sales isn't for you now, and we're looking at, can you take these skill sets and maybe move into like an account manager role? Or there's loads of different things in there. So it's a kind of like mixture, I would say, between one-to-one training, career assessment type thing. Then for there, we then kick into getting your job. And that's the part that I think's evolved loads, because we started as, let's get them into recruitment businesses, let's get them into sales businesses that we know. But like I said, now we've got so many different avenues we can take them. At the end of the day, my main skill set and our skill set is recruitment. I can find people jobs. So if there's something they want to do, then we'll help them get that job as
And
well.
how long does the course last for?
On average, and it's changed for different people, Chris, in all honesty, so 8 weeks is what I say is
8
an
weeks.
average, but I know people who went through the online course in a week because they've just hammered it and they've went, I'm really needing a job, so let's go for it. After that, the one-to-one sessions is down to their time because I can do it whenever they need to. So it's 8 weeks is a good sweet spot, I think.
And a bit of a loaded question because I know the answer, but it'll be good for the video.
Yeah.
Do you need to take a job at the end of the course?
Do we need to take a job with us?
No. So do you need to do the course and then go down the route of being looking for a job, or can you just do the course while you're playing full-time football? Or?
I mean, that's that. You can do it. And what I would advise people is do the course.
Aye.
Because what I then say is, and again, this has changed from day one to now, it's a membership they're getting with me. So the price of the course is £500. It's that's for the discounts you get through the PFA. The course is normally £800, they get it for £5.
Right.
It's the same way Laps and all these other companies on partnership where they do it for £500 for them. If you're not coming through them, we still talk to you about it. I wouldn't ever outprice anybody into the course, but what we then want to do there is it gives them that lifetime membership with us. So basically then do the course now, say in 2 years time you need me, then come back, we'll refresh the course, then we'll just go into the finding you a job. To me, it's a membership for life.
Yeah.
So when you need a job, companies do the course, learn the work. We will then do quarterly, probably, seminars. I'm going to be putting in up-to-date material in there, which they can then watch and see what's going on. The more the business is evolving, I mean, you spoke about this earlier, but I want to start doing events for players can come along, speak to players that have done the job before, maybe come on the podcast, like these type of things that make it a bit more interesting. So to me, Chris, it's not just about the course, it's about how can they make it a team, a community where they understand that we've got their back forever, not just now.
And I think one of the clubs to mention that we've been in there, and we've ended up building a lot of a lot of rapport, a lot of relationships with the players and the management team and whatever, Falkirk. So we went into Falkirk and John McGlynn is bought into this big time. Paul Smith bought into it big time. I actually bumped into Stephen McGinn at a St Mirren game, and he was there at Falkirk as well, and he was talking about it and saying they were all raving about it. But I know you've had contact with the players on it, and I know that they're interested in doing the course alongside being Premier League footballers because they've got other business interests as well. I
think a lot of these boys now, there's more and more information out there from them. So they see, and by the John McGlynn said it to them in front of us, he might not be a millionaire at this spot, and by a couple of them I've had Calvin Miller, great boy, sat and spoke to his brilliant move, Wait Hearts.
You kept in contact with him as well?
I've messaged him, but I know his agent, Scotty, but great guy. And when he was asking a lot of good questions. There was the boy Spencer there as well. Again, brilliant. He'd asked a few different questions. These boys what I like about them is they do have their eye on, I have a great career, but what's next? And I think that's why it hit home so well with the Falkirk players, because there's a lot of UK-based footballers in there that have probably seen their friends or family or that come out the game and they've not really got much. I was talking to Gus McPherson for ages, played football with his boy. And again, even Gus, he's been lucky enough to stay in the game all the way through, playing, management. And the first thing he said to me was, I wish somebody, somebody that came and told me this 10 years ago, I'd have been jumping on it myself, because there's always that. It's great staying in the game, but is it paying the money that they probably wanted?
Look at Tom Lang, who was there, and Tom Lang, I was at Clyde with Tom, and Tom's had a great career, and he's
great modelling career.
Oh, he's the big man. He's not struggling.
Had a shout out for you.
He's got a friend on me. But Tom's got a year left of his contract, but he's got a really serious injury at the moment, and now he's probably come at the end of his career. I don't think he'd mind me saying that, but he's really thinking about what do I do next, and he's one of the ones that is going to come on the course. So I think just guys like that, it is an eye-opener. You think they've got the world at their feet and they've got everything in hand, but they really worry about everybody else out there about what they do next.
And it's not even too late. That's the advice. And by the way, when I talk to these players, past and present, that's the thing that hits me the most. It's don't leave it to the last minute. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with you building a career alongside your football career. And me and you, I find myself lucky, you probably do as well. I managed to play till I was 40. I was still earning money through the juniors, etc., playing. But it was just, to me at that point, it gets past a certain point where you know you're not going to make it, and you're just like, it gives you this, you don't need to lose football at the end of the day.
No, that's it. You realise it at my stage, I got to 28 or something, whatever it was, and I thought I'm not going to be the next Peter Schmeichel. Then I thought I might as well have a career and make some money alongside it. So I always remember at Raith Rovers, I was at Raith Rovers, by the way.
He doesn't mention it much.
I was there for 2 years, just a wee sort of comparison, but I done really well in the first season, get player of the year, and then I spoke to John McGuinn, who was the manager, and I got offered £50 less than the full-time guys, because they had a hybrid of full-time and part-time, and I went, why would I go full-time for
When
an
you get
extra
your wage?
50 quid a week when I can go and get another 40 grand a year job on side it? But there are young boys that are desperate for that full-time status, but at that stage I'd sort of went, right, I'm not going to make it to the top. I'm quite happy to be a League One goalkeeper and have a career alongside it.
And like you said, you could still be full-time and learning these skill sets. That's the big thing. And by the way, we'll get more and more partnerships coming all the time. It's going to give people more and more options, and that's a good thing.
Well, just keep in mind there's an exciting event coming here in the summer. Dubai, something that we've been banging on about, and unfortunately Mr. Trump put
Epic Fury
put sort of a hold to that for a wee while, but it's now coming back in force. And again, when I was at that PFA event at Broadwood, the players were, young boys were, their eyes were wide open, and that's the thing that they were excited about, was they don't care that all these troubles, they're desperate to get over there and live the lifestyle and be a footballer and have a career. So what's happening about the event in the summer and what's happening with the Dubai stuff?
So, as you know, the Dubai stuff was really exciting really quick, because we clients in Dubai came directly to me and said, Faddy, if you're training these players, I'll take them, because they were then saying there was a skill shortage in Dubai for good salespeople. It's very ruthless over there. It's commission, high commission, not a lot of base salary, but the money people make over there is life-changing. So then I started networking, me, I'm busy, started networking in about football teams and try to get myself in, saying, I wonder what the football's like over there. And it turns out, luckily, I got introduced to Ben. And Ben Pringle runs a UAE football network. So he plays professional over there, brilliant career down south, but he started that because in Dubai, it's in its infancy, the football, so the players don't make a fortune. It's very light part-time money, probably full-time hours is what they call it. So you train 6:30 in the morning to 8:30, you play at night or early in the morning, but most of the players, if not all the players, work where they're doing the odd coaching job, or most of them are in real estate, car sales, recruitment, energy sales. There's a lot of different sales jobs over there. So when I started speaking to Ben, me and him decided very quickly that our partnership would be really strong, because I can train them, we can get them jobs, get their visa sorted, then go over there. Ben can then make sure they're not getting scammed by agents, because you see a lot of come here and earn 60 grand and it just doesn't exist. People just take your money and disappear. So it's a start.
So we had an example of that. One of the boys, it was the PFA event, didn't he? He thought he'd a deal lined up to go over there, and you'd done a bit of digging on it.
And it was, he didn't seen a video and play it. So it's like, there's a worrying that there, right? So you need to be really careful. That's where I trust Ben wholeheartedly to know he's got your best interests at heart. So what we tend to do now is we're working together. We quit a lot of interest early. The war happened, peeled off a wee bit, but it's now peaked really high again. So Ben's doing a tour he's in Barcelona just now, he's doing a tour of the UK, he's coming to Glasgow on the 18th and 19th of July. We're doing an event at Torrey Glen where he's going to be doing coaching, speaking to players, coaches, managers, MDs looking to move to Dubai. And then we're coming into this facility, we're coming into Gold Park to he's going to do a presentation, we're going to show people what it would look like to go to Dubai. But again, it's just another exciting option. It probably came that we didn't expect, but if you're a footballer that's interested in going over there, earning, playing in the best facilities, the facilities are brilliant. I mean, Andres Iniesta and Pirlo and all these players now.
You promised me that we'll get there and do a podcast with you two, haven't you?
We'll get them. On camera, I'll get them for you.
Right.
But I do think now it's becoming more and more a appeal, especially if you have no commitments and that you want to go over. You just need to be aware it comes at a cost. You need money to go to Dubai. You need money to
visas cost money, the accommodation.
The contracts don't work, as in if you've got a phone over there, it can be a year up front. It's not like month to month. It's not like here, but the reward of it. I mean, we know a guy played centre half for Clyde that's over there, been there for a couple of years, and his commission check in February was 70 grand, tax free. It's like,
I mean, we told a few of the Falkirk players like that, first team players,
one was ready to leave
and they were ready to chuck it and go straight away.
But again, And let's be clear, none of this is easy.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's like
Again, it comes down to that ethic that they're
ethic.
footballers and they're all about hard work and it's all about just giving their best. And but I'm sure there's footballers and athletes out there that will have the skills to succeed in these environments.
I don't know about you, right? But I can only speak for experience. My first job in recruitment, the first thing I did was who's the best.
Aye.
They showed me
Mhm.
how much you making, how's you doing it, stuck to him, asked him questions, wanted to know. I just thought myself, if I can get better than you and I can put your habits then bring some of mine into it, then you'll be successful. To me, the world's overcomplicated now when it comes to sales. People are scared of the phone. They don't want told I know. It's like, I think the number one skill set you need now is consistency, followed by hard work, followed by a wee bit of tenacity to want to make money. That's the things that...
If I can go for being released with Celtic at 17 to being a daft goalie to owning 4 businesses at 47, then they can do it, because that wasn't through brains or through intelligence or anything like that. It was just through the skills that I already had as a footballer.
But Chris, you're one of how many guys do we know that's done the same journey?
So many. We talked about it. We sat down this morning. We talked about guys that are involved in business just now that have been involved in football, and they've used that sort of kicking the balls, if you like, to fuel them into their next career.
If anything, for this episode or the clips we're putting on of this, it's like, just don't wait too long. See, when we talk about the price we charge for it and the support we're now starting to get, we made it low cost so that people weren't outpriced. Do it, learn the skill set, join our community as such, and you've got a membership for life there. Whenever you need to work, we'll look after you.
But also, I think for any athletes out there, you know yourself, you can look in the mirror, are you going to make it? You get to a stage where you go, you compare yourself to the competition out there and you say, I'm better than them, or I'm miles off it. And if you're miles off it and you're never going to succeed in the Premier League or a top golfer in the world, and it is going to be League 1 and League 2 part-time football, then be realistic. But see, if you don't become a full-time footballer, there's a very lucrative career to make elsewhere.
And it doesn't, I think, we know we can get people to make money in sales, but if sales isn't for you, we'll find you a career that, one, lets you play your football. Well, when this video is going live, we're probably close to getting a couple of partnerships, which I think are going to be life-changing for football.
But the good thing is, the people who we've agreed these partnerships with, who are very high-level director, owners of businesses, they're ex-footballers, so they understand a footballer's lifestyle. They understand the part-time football. You might need to go to Peterhead on a Wednesday night. You might need to get a half day, and they'll be flexible with that. As long as you're putting in a shift the other days, then they'll be flexible. Because
there's, whether we like it or not in this full country, there's skill shortages everywhere. Whether it be sales, all you hear right now is like joiners, sparks, fan security engineers, HGV drivers. It's like, if you can find a market that you get yourself into and you enjoy it and you don't mind going to your work every day, and you can still go to your football and you've still got all that going for you, the money you can make's mad.
And it sounds so basic, but see the amount of business owners I speak to, and all they're looking for is somebody to put a shift in.
Hard work,
put a shift in,
consistent.
Turn up 95, put a shift in, and that'll put you ahead of 90% of everybody else out there at your age.
And I do want to reinforce the fact that somebody, we can introduce people to this, the transition's not that bad. People think, oh no, all I've done is been a fitter field every day. Sometimes you find something else that's enjoyable. I've travelled the world doing sales, something I could never have done playing football. There's loads of experiences I've had probably in my professional life that equal, if no better, than some of the stuff I enjoyed at football. It's like, eventually that starts to, the penny drops, but the sooner the penny drops for me now, and the more we can educate, the PFA, when we've spoke to them, they do the best they can to help, but there's more needed. You know what I mean? There's needed people that have got genuine like outcomes, they want to help people, and that's where I think if we're sticking to that, that's the thing. We've not grew quicker than what we should have done. We've not bit more often we can chew. We've always, if we do something, and you're sick of hearing me, I phone on the phone to you constantly, bouncing ideas off you, but it's more, we do our due diligence before we select a client for you, before we put you on that career path, because we don't want people getting into jobs and not enjoying it.
We've got a reputation to uphold, and we don't 100%. want to put people in with good people. But no, listen, mate, I've played a very, very small part in it, but I just want to say a massive congratulations to you.
Appreciate it.
I know it's a tough shift building a business, as I know, and you're going through the now, but
Aye.
I think when you look at it, and we're just having a wee chat there, what you've achieved in the last 8 or 9 months has been
Aye.
incredible, and I just hope that the word does get out there to these athletes that you're there to help,
Aye.
and because I think it's a fantastic opportunity for them.
But I think again, mate, and this is genuine. I mean, hard work goes into it, right?
Aye.
But how much have we leaned on our Fitbit network? Mate, I could never have been guys like Lee Sharp and Joe Savage and all these guys that have just opened because I played with them or I know them. Or it's like the actual relationships you build in Fitbit you don't realise until you get out it, and just so many people know you.
I mind doing my B licence down at Largs, and that's the first thing that they told you down there. See, out of this, it won't be about what you learn and how to put somebody in a football pitch and coach somebody. It's the relationships you build here. And then that's how, like, Cathro ended up getting jobs over in Spain, and just through networking, just through there. And that's a sort of football example of it.
Aye. So, listen, I think we'll leave it there. I think just MD's looking, it's in the marketplace. If you are in that position where you're dipping your toe in to find out what's going to happen, maybe you'll get a club, maybe you won't. I speak to thousands of footballers like it at the moment. Have a conversation. Let me show you what we're doing. By then, there should be more and more industries that we can get you into. The sales stuff is absolutely booming at the moment. So if you're interested in that, we've got queues of clients waiting that have jobs ready for you. And as I said, the course itself is just evolving all the time. Things will change in that, but it's exciting times, and hopefully we can get you to a point where you don't feel, one, I think the membership's key, you've got us for life, but two, get you to the point where you don't feel it's such a big job to move out of football or athletics or whatever sport it is you do and go into a professional workplace. So keep following us on Instagram. The socials gives you updates all the time. The podcast, we've had a few bright new ideas on that today as well, so stay tuned for
Iniesta and Pirlo.
Listen, if we get Iniesta and Pirlo on this podcast, we'll just chuck it in the tire.
Just chuck it all together. Just go get your own jobs.